Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you so much for downloading or streaming the Be Our Guest podcast. Today, we have a live call-in show that is a little bit different because it's just me. Nobody joined me because, well, everybody else was, let's just say, on assignment. But we got a great call at the end of the show. We opened up the phone lines and got an awesome trip report from South Carolina, and we discussed some fun questions. We talked about where a Skyliner station could go in the future. And just, you know, if you're going to go to Walt Disney World for the first time and you're a Disneyland vet, what are the attractions that you cannot miss, and all kinds of other trip planning questions, and a great trip report coming in from Laura from her recent trip to Animal Kingdom Lodge. This and more coming your way on today's show. Don't forget, today's podcast is always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney trip for no additional cost to you. Check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys are our VIPs. Thank you so much for that. You can support us as well, just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast.
Ready to take a trip to the world? You found the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. This is where your memories come front and center on our podcast stage.
Welcome to episode 2601 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from beourguestpodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you're having a great week as we settle back in from the Thanksgiving holiday here in the States. I know it's a rough one, and those folks, I have heard, that actually do work in offices and, have kind of that normal 9-to-5 life. Does anybody have that kind of life anymore? I mean, I guess I used to have it when I was a teacher where, used to go in and teach the kids. You'd be in there during normal school hours and you had a normal kind of everyday life. You worked by the school calendar, but, haven't been doing that since 2017. I just work out of my house at this point. But I've heard that at this point of the calendar year that you kind of just push everything off till 2025 at this point. So maybe that's the case, maybe not. I know in some professions it's crunch time. So either way, we hope that you keep the Be Our Guest podcast with you as you're powering through the end of 2024. Maybe you're getting ready for Marathon Weekend. Marathon Weekend is sneaking up on us. Like nobody's business. It's about 4.5 weeks away for all of us that are going down for all the festivities in early January. Maybe you're running the 5K for the first time. Maybe you're doing the Dopey Challenge for the 10th time. Either way, it's going to be an epic time down there in January. The only thing we can do is we can all start praying for good weather. Is it going to matter? Probably not, but it never hurts to put in a good word with the big man upstairs. I'm just saying, now's the time. Let's put in a good order because we've had every once in a while we get good weather for Marathon Weekend. 8 times out of 10, sketchy weather just makes it challenging, and we always have stories. But I'd rather not have stories and have pleasant weather. That's just me. So anyway, hope you're having a great week. If you've noticed, I haven't introduced anybody on today's show. I haven't gone to Ricky. You haven't heard her giggle in the background. I haven't talked about my boy, Scotty G. You know why I haven't talked about him, because he's probably on a golf cart right now, causing havoc all around Fort Wilderness. I haven't even talked about Pam Forrester. She's not here as well. She had something come up this week and can't join us. I am flying solo for today's Wednesday show. But don't worry, Friday, we're going to do something fun on Friday's show. There is going to be a co-host on Friday's show. I saw this as an opportunity. We're going to have a co-host who has never co-hosted our podcast, but you do know this person if you hang out over at the Be Our Guest Podcast Clubhouse at beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. This person is over there all the time, key to the Clubhouse's success. So you will want to come back on Friday for that show. But today, of course, it is listener questions. And so I thought that I would go into our inbox and answer some of the questions, dig through there. But also I thought that I would get some questions from our folks that are tuned in live, and also look at this as an opportunity. I've been wanting to do this for just a little bit. Kind of do a little bit, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes of kind of state of the Be Our Guest podcast. And just kind of remind our new listeners and folks that have been with us for quite a long time, the different ways you could interact with our show. We have lots of different ways, different things that are associated with the Be Our Guest podcast, because we've been doing the show now for over 2,600 episodes. We started the show in March of 2008 and have been going consistently. We've never taken a break since then. So we've got a lot going on. I don't know if you know this. This is a good time to mention this because we'll be moving into a new year where everybody makes their resolutions here in the next month or so. If you didn't know, we have a running group, just kind of a fitness group that gets together at the Run Disney events, but also encourages each other throughout the year. We're called the Be Our Guest Podcast Lizards. Great group of folks. We have over, I think it's almost, we're just a little bit shy of 3,000 folks over on Facebook in our group. And you can join that. Just go to Be Our Guest Lizards on Facebook. You just kind of, you got to just answer a couple questions there and we approve you. No problem. Just ask you like, who's your favorite host of the Be Our Guest podcast? If you put Mike, you get in quicker. Just kidding. It doesn't matter. We just want to make sure you're not like a Russian spam bot. And then you're in. And what happens is it's so encouraging. We have so many great members. You post your walks. You don't even have to be a runner. You could just be somebody who wants to walk, who wants to just get in better shape, who just needs like a team behind you, who wants somebody to support you in your fitness journey to make yourself a little bit more healthy. You don't have to be an Olympic athlete. None of us are. I'm a 51-year-old dude with bad knees. It's just trying to hang in there as a Midwestern dad. But we're all in different places in our lives. Now, we do have people that are fast. I love those people. But, you know, we have people that also just walk, a mile a week, and that is totally fine. We're all in different places, but I'd encourage you to do that. I've mentioned the Clubhouse. The Clubhouse is like our Cheers. It's kind of like the forums we used to have back in the day, way back a long time ago. This is, again, aging kind of our show. We had what were called V-Bulletin forums. I miss those things so much. It was kind of the heart of our show way back before Twitter and Facebook took off. We had just message boards. I forgot even what the website was, like beourguestpodcast.com/forums, I think. And you went there and they were like, it was basically like the Clubhouse, but it was just kind of more visual. It looked prettier than the Discord does, but everybody got together and talked about things and it was just fun. That's what our Discord is now in a different way. Everybody gets together. We talk. Trisha hosts a trivia question every day. She posts like a picture of sometimes it's like a visual picture. You got to figure out on tie-dye cheesecake. Too easy. Got that the other day. Mickey, ice cream sandwich, piece of cake. People are talking about, we have a sports channel. We have Disney TV and movies. We have travel hacks. Cody's in there telling people how to save money. It's a community. Like you come in there and just people are posting memes all the time. It's just like, I again, showing my age, it reminds me of the TV show Cheers, right? You pop in there, you can kind of see on the side who's in there at the time. And it's like, hey, I see that, Cody's in here right now or Trisha's in here right now. And you can just kind of chat. You can it's live. It's real time. You can chat with people, post messages. Somebody just posted right now. That's the sound. And it's just a good time. And it's totally free. So come on over to beourguestpodcast.com/Discord. You can also follow me on the social media at beourguestmike. Now, the reason you would do that is that this time next week, I'm going to be going down to Walt Disney World and I'll be on the Disney Treasure. Disney is hosting us to go on the Treasure to check out the ship. So they're also giving us the internet package. So when I get something to use like that, I'm going to use it. So if you want me to go check something out for you, and they're going to let us go into staterooms, they're going to have staterooms set up to like videotape and check out. If you have a question, like what's it look like under the bed in a deluxe ocean view, I'll do that. I'm not with my family. So that's something you can do like that. So I just wanted to kind of give you like a state of, if you want to join the Lizards, please do that. You want to come to the forums, we'd love to see you over there. And we're going to be raising money for Give Kids the World. We're going to have a live show in March, 6 hours down there. Last year, we raised $50,000 in 6 hours. We hope to do that again. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have lots and lots of giveaways and great stuff. We've already had a couple of Zoom meetings with them about that. It's going to be amazing. And volunteering. You can come down. We're going to volunteer the day before at the Village. You can help like run they have attractions, they have like a big swing. They have a train around the village. We have games, and I helped serve. I made avocado toast all morning in the food court. That was what I did with Scotty G. Scott served something else. I was working the avocado toast station. But anyway, we're trying to do that with our listeners. It's so much fun. So we have a lot going on, but just want to kind of give that. So it is listener questions, but that's kind of a state of the Be Our Guest podcast today as we're here. So let's get to some of the questions. Let's see here. Michelle over on Instagram says, walking around Epcot yesterday, we noticed some cool looking cookie boxes for the cookie stroll, but they seem sold out at every holiday booth. Any tips for tracking down hard to find merchandise? Man, I'm not really a merch guy. I'm going to throw that one out to the chat room because I know we have a lot of chatters out there that are more merch people. Scotty G might be still tuned in. And if anybody has feedback, I will read that. Anybody have any tips for looking for that hard to find merch that has been sold out? She saw this cookie box for the cookie stroll. If you see that, let me know. And I'll, before the show's out, I'll put that back in for Michelle 94 over on Instagram. Now I did see, now here's one thing that cracked me up. I don't know if you saw this on social media this week. Did you see that over at Epcot, they are now selling the holiday sweater that Figment wears in Journey to Your Imagination? I mean, come on now. Okay. I know we all have different styles, right? And everybody's like, God, Mike's a bum. He looks like Bill Belichick. He's always wearing a hood. He's like a defensive coordinator. I mean, this is what I worked for my whole life. Like I always had to dress up to be a teacher. My 1 year I wore a tie every single day. Now I get to work from home and I get to wear a hoodie every day. It's like my dream job at this point. But like they had the holiday sweater. It's, that blue color with the Epcot logo that Figment's got on during the holidays in the attraction. And I thought when I saw that thing go on the shelf, I thought they would have a ton of those left over, right? I thought that thing is going to go right to Cast Connections. I thought you're going to see that thing down at the store on iDrive. Dude, this morning sold out except for 3XLs and smalls. They're not to be found. Those things are hotter than Texas chili. So I missed out. Those things, people like them. I guess they're really going. So, and Deanna right now says sees why power of our show. Instantly on YouTube says they found the cookie box, the International Gateway. So look at that. And that's a great shot, by the way. It's one of my favorite stores. That store right by the International Gateway on the way out. I love that store. It's called the World Traveler, I think. Yeah, go there. And Alfred says eBay, but eBay jacks their prices. So I try to avoid that. So Deanna said to check cast members. Deanna Frisbee. We have two Deannas. We have battling Deannas. Deanna over on Instagram says, ask the cast members, as does Rob over on YouTube. Cast members will also try to find where things are for you. Len says, if you could pick the next location for a Skyliner station, where would you put it? My answer would be the Animal Kingdom entrance. Oh, man, that is a loaded question. Where would I put the next Skyliner station? Man, where would I put it? See, Disney Springs is a quandary, right? Because that would cause, if you put it at Disney Springs, I think what you would have to do immediately is charge for parking at Disney Springs. Because if you didn't, people would park at Disney Springs to avoid parking to kind of get inside the closed loop, right? To get to the parks. So I don't think that would work. I have always said if you added a Skyliner station to Coronado Springs, it would immediately make Coronado Springs a deluxe resort. That's the only thing Coronado Springs is missing is a Skyliner station. Because when I think about where do I want to stay this time, Coronado is like I'm staying there in January for Marathon Weekend because it just has so much. It's got so much going for it. It's got many food options. It's got a great pool. It's got a great pool bar, great rooms. I like the rooms. You don't have to stay in the tower. It's really kind of got everything I need. It's centrally located. It's right next to the studios in Epcot, right down World Drive from Magic Kingdom. And I mean, it's an Animal Kingdom resort. So yeah, if you put one there, so I guess I would say Coronado is where I'd put a station. I don't know, but Animal Kingdom entrance, I like it. I do like it. trying to think though, yeah. You can just connect it right there from like maybe that churn. Maybe take that churn at the boardwalk and rejigger that thing and put it out towards Animal Kingdom Lodge. I'm trying to think on the fly here. Michelle says thanks to everybody who helped her with that. Any word on what Disneyland is doing for the 70th anniversary and when does the celebration begin? From Alfred over on Facebook. I've heard unofficial stuff, but I haven't heard anything official. I know they're doing a 70th anniversary, obviously, but haven't heard anything as far as like when the official celebration kicks off and what they're doing. I can't wait though. Oh, it's going to be fun. The merch out there will be great. And I did see, speaking of the clubhouse, Cody, one of our listeners, I think it was his wife, got 2 of the popcorn buckets that look like gingerbread houses out there. Those things are so stinking cool. And she had 2 of them yesterday. He posted it in the clubhouse. Let's see here. Bundles over on YouTube, who's tuned in, says, I'm thinking about booking a Disney cruise next year and wanted to ask if the fish extender gifts are still popular. Thanks. Oh, good question. Bundles. Yes. So we sailed on the Disney Fantasy in July for a week to the Eastern Caribbean, and there are lots and lots of families still doing fish extender exchanges. Now, we were just by ourselves, right? We just had our own stateroom. We were not traveling with a group. So we were not involved in a fish extender exchange. And I'll tell you what, like my wife is not, don't come at me, bro, on this one, but my wife is not into fish extender stuff. My wife, and I've said this on the show many times, she is a minimalist. She does not like junk. This, if you're watching on the video, that shelf behind me gives her anxiety. She does not like trinkets and junk. She likes the house to be lean and clean, you know. She doesn't collect stuff. She doesn't like to keep stuff. She hates when I keep junk. And I'm the opposite, right? If you know Mike in the Midwest, if you know, you've heard it, like I love like my little ceramic Christmas tree, my little Charlie Brown Christmas tree. I like my little Buzz and Woody McDonald's toys. They used to sit on top of my intercom in my classroom, and I told the kids they watched over them when I taught 6th grade. I do my little bobbleheads. I love stuff like that. It's so funny. So real quick, my wife sent me a meme last night before we were going to bed, and it couldn't be more true. She said, God makes 2 kinds of people. People that like white Christmas lights and people that like colored Christmas lights. And they marry each other. And that couldn't be more true because I love colored Christmas lights. I love they have to be color, and I like them to be flashing, and I like the bubble lights. I like them all to be like 70s gaudy looking. My wife likes, boom, just white lights. They don't need to be flashing, just white lights. So the Christmas tree in our living room, boom, boring white lights. But the Christmas tree in my office, bubble lights here in the studio, yes. So anyway, I don't know where we're going with that. But yeah, the fish extender gifts, we weren't in one, but we saw them happening all over the place. And the gifts are cute, right? I mean, because I think a lot of people that do these gifts, they're very creative, like with crickets. You see very personalized things like notepads with the date of the cruise, the name of the ship, like we were on the Fantasy. You see a lot of, stuff for the little kids. You see a lot of like hand sanitizers, soaps, like little games like, am I dating myself? Like jacks and cards and stuff like that for the kids. Just little trinkets and stuff. And you see the excitement of people delivering their gifts throughout the evening, going around, kind of scamper around, trying to be like a Secret Santa kind of thing. So it's fun, and they're still doing them. So yeah, fish. And it's always fun to get a secret gift. It's kind of cool to get one. So yeah, do that. Let's see. Rob says he would put his over on Facebook or over on YouTube, says he put his Skyliner station at Animal Kingdom with a stop at the lodge. That makes sense too. Oh, and Rob's asking what a fish extender gift is. So that's a good question. I should probably, as a former teacher, I should probably say what that is. On Disney Cruise Line, and this has kind of changed over the years, but this was on the original ships, the Wonder and the Magic and the Wonder. Outside your door, they had these little like decorations, right? And it was a fish. So, and sometimes now they're like seahorses, they're all kinds of stuff, but it was a fish. And it was originally there so they could hang, like they could put mail. So like if you got like a Apollo reservation or something from guest services, they could hang basically it was got like a kind of like a clothespin where they could put it there outside your door so that if you got a notice or something, some kind of a note from guest services, it would be hanging outside your door and you would know what was going on. It's like a mail holder. Well, what happened was, in true Disney fan fashion, we found another reason for this. So what you would get is like a thing. It was named a fish extender. You would hang this thing. It was kind of like a single like shoe holder. If you have like a shoe holder over your door, maybe this is like a Midwestern thing. We have one on our door in our closet that holds a bunch of shoes, like with clear pockets. Everybody's got a pocket. So there'd be a pocket for Mike, Pam, Paige, and Mallory. So we got 4 of us. And everybody's got a little pocket, and it hangs off the fish right outside your door and has like the Rallman family at the top. Just Google fish extender and you can find a million of them. But everybody's got a pocket. And then what happens is throughout the cruise, either you do it one time throughout the cruise or every night of the cruise, everybody goes around and like drops little gifts in everybody's pocket. It becomes kind of a pain in the butt, but it also is kind of fun to get these little gifts. And a lot of times you leave a gift from your geographic part of the world, because a lot of times you're cruising with people from different parts of the world. So like when we did it from St. Louis, we gave stuff from like, Cardinal stuff, because, we're St. Louis Cardinals, or Mizzou stuff, because that's what I talk about. And we get like one time we got like Skyline chili from folks from Cincinnati, and I immediately threw it away. No, just kidding. I'm just playing. So stuff like that. It's neat. It's a great way to kind of learn about other parts of the world. It was neat. Let's see here. Deanna says, what would you consider don't miss attractions for a Disneyland vet going to Walt Disney World for the first time in 20 years? Holy cow, that's the opposite way I thought you were going to go. So I would say don't miss Guardians, even though it tears me up. I wouldn't miss Flight of Passage, kind of the same way. I would not miss Help Me Out group here that's tuned in live. Those are the 2 I would not miss. I wouldn't miss the TTA, because you don't have that at Disneyland anymore, obviously. That's a classic. I would not miss Carousel of Progress. That's a classic. Let's see. What else would I not miss if you're going out to Walt Disney World? Spaceship Earth, absolutely. Living with the Land, that's probably in my top 5. That's a classic. 'Cause Living with the Land, even though you might not say, Mike, that's not really, shouldn't be in the top 5. I think that's as close as you can go back to like 1980, like mid 1980s Epcot with Spaceship Earth. Maybe Ratatouille, because that's obviously one of the newer attractions that you could do. Because Tiana's is going to be out at Disneyland in a very similar form. So I don't know if you need to do that. Tron. Yep. Rob adds Tron. That would be another one I would make sure to have on your list. I'm trying to think about Animal Kingdom besides Flight of Passage. Maybe Everest. It's a neat roller coaster. I don't know if that's a must. But that, because you have Galaxy's Edge is kind of the same both places. I'm trying to think. You got Mickey and Minnie's in both places. I think I got to get you started and then kind of fall in from there. That's a good question, though. All right, see if we have any other questions in the chat. I did have an email here that I wanted to share from listener Laura. Laura just got back from Walt Disney World, and she said I could share some of her thoughts on her trip. And she said, we really enjoyed our trip to Walt Disney World. The Animal Kingdom Lodge was fantastic, and our room was lovely with a Savannah view. The weather cooperated with all the plans and even got chilly later in the week, which makes the Christmas decorations feel even more jolly. Got to Walt Disney World on arrival day early enough to head over to Animal Kingdom and do the safari, say goodbye to Dinosaur, and ride Expedition Everest. Then did BOMA for dinner at the resort. This trip we actually planned out park hopping. We typically would buy it, but did not ever feel we utilized it well. So the next day we did Hollywood Studios, favorite Christmas music and decor, rope dropped, and lightning lanes. I think we did most everything except the shows that day. Then, because Jollywood Nights was going to be there, we park hopped to Epcot and ate at Beer Garden. Hot take. I like this buffet better than BOMA, and the atmosphere is so fun. We rode Soarin' and Living with the Land because you must, and watched Luminous. The next day, we took the morning to actually appreciate the resort more and then headed to Magic Kingdom early afternoon for Mickey's Very Merry. Knocked out some rides before including Tiana's and ate at Tony's for the first time before the party. Loved the Christmas parade and fireworks so much and got all the cookies to bring home. Rest day for midweek. It was a little overcast and sprinkled on and off, but it does not matter when hanging out at the Grand Floridian and getting a massage. Then went to Disney Springs for a bit, and Anthony's favorite there is Boathouse. Those sliders are the best. Utilized park hopping and rope dropped again on Thursday for Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios. We were able to catch some rides, but focused on the shows and the Fantasmic dining package. Friday, we went to Epcot for more Guardians of the Galaxy. Delicious meal at Jico. Saturday, we bookended the trip with Animal Kingdom rope drop. Early entry for Disney Resort guests to clutch because you can grab several rides and the parks are so nice to walk around in with the lower crowds. The grand finale was Wild Africa Trek. We did this back in 2019, but it was so good we had to do it again. Highly recommend it and totally worth the price tag with the superior tour guides, photos, and food at the end of the tour. Thanks again for the gift card because it came in handy to have to come home with a few things. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody at the Magic for Less and the BOGP. 365 days till our next trip, Laura and Anthony. So, I mean, right there, that was a great, quick little mini trip report from Laura. I appreciated her sharing. I liked her hot take because Boma is such a great, great buffet. But she said Beer Garden is up there with it. And I agree with her on that one because the food selection at Boma is outstanding. Boma is a great, great meal. And I don't know. I'm a sucker for those. I guess you could call them like outside, inside experiences where when you go inside Beer Garden, you're like inside of a little German village. You know, it feels like you're kind of sitting outside in a German village, but you're inside a restaurant, but you have the live entertainment, the guys playing the instruments and the communal experience. It's not for everybody. I like it. I'm an extrovert, but the foods are good. They got great desserts on the bar, meats and potatoes. That's my jam. It's not everybody's, but it's good. And it's still one of the lower cost meals in World Showcase. So I like it. And I still have not done Wild Africa Trek. I got it. I've done a lot of tours at Walt Disney World, but I haven't got to the one, any of them over at Animal Kingdom. So I need to do that. So I like this recommendation. So I appreciate Laura passing that along because that's a good tip. So thank you for that. And I appreciate that very much. All right, let me check. And also Rob says, don't miss the safari if you're coming out to Walt Disney World. I agree. That's something you don't have even close to out at Disneyland for Deanna. All right, here's another question. Now, let me get to this one because this one has a surprise element for a family, so I cannot say the listener's name. So, unnamed listener is dropping this one in. And also, by the way, Sandy over on Facebook, who's tuned in live, says, Wild Africa Trek was spectacular. She did it in September. Okay. Everybody's raving about the Wild Africa Trek. So if you want to do this, and I've heard this time and time and time again, that it is awesome. So everybody's chiming in saying how great it was. So do it. Get on it and enjoy it. I mean, obviously, I've seen pictures from people, my guests that do this. A lot of times they'll send me back pictures when they get home, just tell me about the trip. And was it, I put the email away on this one, but maybe it was Laura that sent me a picture of Laura and her husband, or it was a couple, and they're standing like right next to the crock pit. And I swear that crock could just, it's got to be like a trick shot, right? I mean, I know it wasn't like photo edited or anything, but the way the picture is taken, I swear it looks like they're standing a foot away from this 12-foot long crocodile. And that thing could jump out and take off a foot at any moment. I know that they're safe and that is not happening. But when I saw the picture, I was like, that is not safe. But it's Disney, so it's like 78 times safe because they're not going to put a guest ever in harm's way. But the picture, I was like, oh man, that's not good. But yeah, it was like it's one of those pictures that I would get blown up by, poster size and hang in my office. Like, look, unlike Steve Irwin, like rest in peace. But, I'd be like, I wrestled that guy to the ground. Crikey. That's how we went. All right. We have a question here from anonymous listener. This is probably going to be the last one for the day. A little bit shorter show today, but, flying solo. And we'll have another listener question show next Wednesday. So if you have a question, Mike@BRGuestPodcast.com. You can be the star of next week's show. We'll have another show on Friday, though. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for Friday's show. Did I mention special guest co-host, never been on the show? I'm super excited for that. This question says, I'm a longtime listener, but this is my first official trip-related question. Technically, I had a few questions around my last trip, but they were more specific as you had booked it for us. You did an amazing job, by the way. It was a complicated trip, double split stay with my parents and my friends. I appreciated all the help. You made things so easy. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. We have an upcoming trip booked, and I apologize for not using you again. I'm actually going to a conference at the Grand Floridian, and I had to book the tickets and the room at the time of booking with the conference. I learned the hard way from a prior Disneyland trip that we cannot transfer reservation to you if it's already been paid for. Don't worry. We're going to certainly be working again in the future. Yeah, sometimes when you book a conference, you have to go through I get it. Here's the thing about my guests at the Magic for Less and our listeners. I know that you guys, if you can, you book with me. I appreciate it. And if you have to book, like if you're going with work and like I had to book a vacation where I couldn't even book it with myself because it was through Mallory's cheerleading gymnasium when she was doing all-star cheer. I had to book with the gym because it was part of the group. I couldn't even book with myself. I understand. I get it, right? I mean, that's how it is. But I do appreciate when you book with me because that's how we pay for the whole podcast thing. So thank you for supporting us, especially during the holiday season. So I get it. I can't say your name, but mystery listener, you know who you are. Okay, here's the question. We're going down just after Christmas, and based on strong recommendations for you, we have Epcot booked for New Year's Eve. The conference tickets require park reservations. I've reached out directly to see if having a park reservation pass reservation and a dining reservation, we would be guaranteed re-entry to Epcot in the evening if we choose to park in the afternoon. Let me try this again. I had reached out directly to see if having a park pass reservation and a dining reservation, we would be guaranteed re-entry to Epcot in the evening if we chose to park in the afternoon. They could not guarantee re-entry. My question for you or the podcast team is, if you so choose, is how likely do you think it would be that we would be denied re-entry to Epcot New Year's Eve if we're trying to get back in for a 6 or 7 o'clock dinner reservation? I know it's ambitious, and I'm not sure we're going to pull it off, but we're trying to keep this trip a secret from our kids for Christmas. Therefore, if you happen to pick this question, let me know in advance. Well, I didn't let you know in advance, but I'm not telling you who this is. So this could be for anybody. So, unknown listener, here's the deal for Epcot on New Year's Eve. I don't think you're going to run into an issue with this. We have been down many times on New Year's Eve, even in years where the crowds have trended higher than they are this year. This year, the crowds in the theme parks are not trending as high as they have been in previous years. And I think you're going to be fine because we've gone in at like 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock. The thing is, you're going to Epcot. Epcot has a huge capacity for guests. The park that is going to close is Magic Kingdom and possibly the studios. So I would not stress about this. You're going to get back in. And I don't know what time your dining if you're worried about hitting your dining reservation, I mean, you're going to get into Epcot. I would not stress about this. I think you're going to be absolutely fine. And I think folks that have had this experience in the past with Epcot on New Year's Eve, I think you could echo my my sympathy, my experience. I think you're going to be fine. So yeah, I think you're going to be good. So yeah, you're going to be good. So we have somebody wants to call in with a quick trip report. And if you want to do that, Deanna, you could do that at 407-413-9395, 407-413-9395. We can do that for about 5 or 7 minutes here at the end of the show, because I do have the phone lines open, and I never gave the phone number because we got all the questions in the chat. We had some conversations. We're having a good time here on a Wednesday, and I've enjoyed just hanging out with everybody here in the chat. But yeah, the phone lines are open, and Deanna said she was going to call in but didn't want to interrupt. We have the best listeners in the world. They're so kind, but why not? We have the phone lines open. So if Deanna wants to call in here at the end of the show, we can extend the show an extra 5 to 7 minutes. Why not? So we'll hang out here and see if Deanna gives us a call. Again, at 407-413-9395. And if not, we will start to wrap things up here shortly. But I'd like to hear a few minutes about Deanna's trip, because I don't know if you guys know this, but I started the podcast in 2008 because I was kind of addicted to reading trip reports online. Because again, this was kind of before social media took off. A little backstory on the podcast. You didn't have people posting pictures and stuff and vlogs live from the Disney destination. So the closest you could get to the parks was reading like Birnbaum's guides from like that year. Or if people would post a trip report, like that was the best. So, and then when people posted pictures with their trip reports, oh my gosh, if you found one of those online, that was like the golden ticket, right? Because you could see pictures of what they were posting. That was the best. All right, we have our call. Maybe this is Deanna. Deanna, is this you?
Yes, it is.
Yes, thanks for calling. We're going to extend the show here for you. Thanks for calling in on a Wednesday, because we're
no problem.
So tell us about your trip real quick. How's it going?
Oh, it was good. We went down for a short weekend. We left Wednesday night, drove overnight, got there about 5:30, 6 in the morning, and surprisingly, our room at Pop Century was ready for us.
So now
early in the morning.
I didn't ask, where'd you guys come from?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Oh,
don't worry. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, so I'm a Penn State fan.
Okay, sure. Like if you're a Clemson fan, we're okay. We're good. I'm rooming on the Treasure with a Gamecock fan, this is going to be tough. 3 days in a small stateroom with a South Carolina. He's my buddy, but I don't know how it's going to work, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
No, so Pop Century, you guys, I got to ask you, did you get a piece of the wedge cheesecake, tie-dye cheesecake?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yep.
There you go. Winning. Awesome. So give us a few highlights. Got about 5 minutes.
So we got to our room, and then we left our room, rope dropped Animal Kingdom, did Flight of Passage, did Navi, did the Safari, did Everest, did Dinosaur, and then my other son did the Triceratops spin. Got that done pretty quickly. No lightning lanes or anything, just doing rope drops. And then we were done basically. And then we didn't reserve our tables in enough time for Thanksgiving dinner that day. So we ended up at Disney Springs at Maria and Enzo's for a little bit of Italian dinner.
But see, here's the thing. Let me just break in there. You'll never forget that Thanksgiving. The Thanksgiving you had Italian at Maria and Enzo's. Never forget that one.
Exactly. Yep.
It's perfect.
So we hung out there for a little bit. And since we had a long day that day, we went back to the hotel, and then Friday we rope dropped Magic Kingdom. Even though we had tickets to the Christmas party, we still rope dropped Magic Kingdom, got all the rides done so that we can enjoy the party, for the night. But then it rained.
Oh man.
That night.
That stinks.
It got cold and rained right when they were supposed to start the first castle show. They canceled that, and about 10 minutes later, they canceled the parade. And then, so we decided to go hit more cookie spots. And then when we came out, the parade was already going on. They didn't announce it or anything, so we kind of missed the parade. I know we could have done the 11 o'clock one, but we were there since 7:30 in the morning, so it was a long day for us.
So now,
but we still enjoyed it.
How old are your kids?
I have twin 15-year-old boys.
So were they? I mean, I have a 16-year-old and also 27-year-old, so I've been there. How were? I mean, because that could be either way. Like they could be emotional or moody, or were they like grumpy, or were they still powering through for the Christmas party?
No, they powered through. We started them off young, going to Disney and doing like all day. Like we didn't even go back to our rooms when they were younger. They would just sleep in their stroller. So
nice.
They're kind of used to pushing it all day.
Nice. So, I mean, I hate when the weather interferes with things like that because, like I always say, when you make the plans and you're dreaming about it for, 6 weeks out, 2 months out, like it's always it's always like a 60 degree, like just a little kind of a crisp evening with perfect weather. And, then that happens. It's such a shame. I hate that, but you always make the best of it that you can.
Yeah, we did. And well, the funny thing is, if you want to call it funny, was that we went to a Halloween party. It was back in August, something. And it rained the entire time.
Okay. Remind me the next time you buy a ticket to a hard ticket event when you're going. I'm not. Just in case.
We don't bring good weather with us there.
So did you guys do anything else that was out of the ordinary?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Did you guys do anything else though out of the ordinary that kind of stuck out from the trip?
No, not really. We did the cookie stroll, which we've never done. We did about 5 cookies, which was about enough because, it was kind of filling.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, no, not really. I mean, my one son loves the dance parties. So he was doing the dance parties at the Christmas party. So.
Yeah, Scott actually called in because he's down there right now. He called in last night during the live show. He was at, was he at Pecos? He was at, I think Cosmic Rays. It was Cosmic Rays. And he said that was the place to be. So like 3 different things were happening in there all at once, like a dance party, a cookie stop. And he's like, there was a lot happening in this one location all at one time.
We did see the candlelight processional. We just sat outside, but we were able to watch it. So that was really good.
That's exactly what I do. I never have like a dining reservation. I've never been like in a seat, but you know what? It moves my spirit back sitting on the ledge at American Adventure, back by the American Adventure sign. I still hear the music and I hear the message.
Exactly.
That's me.
Yep.
We're the same. Well, hey, I appreciate the
We
call.
don't like
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say we don't really, like to have to pay if we don't have to,
Oh man, you're
pay for the extra seating and everything.
You're talking
for the lightning lane. So
you're speaking my language.
Yep,
that's so good. Well, hey, I appreciate you calling in, and you just made this show infinitely better by coming in and making it not just me. So I appreciate that so much.
Well, I just want to let you know, big fan of your show and listen to it. When I'm at the gym and everything. So, and we did see Scotty G, but he was in line for the processional, and we didn't want to bother him, so we just let him go.
You got to go up and bug that guy. That's the biggest mistake you made. You go bug him next time.
Well, he was taking a picture with his family, so I was nah.
Yeah, he's good. He's one of the best guys in the world. He nicest guy you'll ever meet. Next time.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks
hey,
a lot. I appreciate it.
Good luck to Penn State in the playoff.
Thanks.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
All right, well, hey, that show just got better with a call from out there in South Carolina. I love our listeners. That was so fun. So we're going to wrap here and come back with you on Friday with a mystery co-host who and it's going to be fun. Never on the show before. So hope you enjoy that. So we're going to have fun on Friday. So come on back. But until then, don't forget our podcast always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure, whether it's to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, even Adventures by Disney. We're going to help you plan that trip for no additional cost to you. Concierge level service each and every time. Check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link as you do the holiday shopping. This is the season where you can really support the show. The easiest way, it's one extra click. Just bookmark it. Put it right there on your toolbar. And every time you do that shopping online, if you wouldn't mind, just click through and it takes you right back to Amazon. You support the show. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You might not think $5 a month means a lot. It means a ton to our show. Thank you to everybody who's been a supporter over the years. And if you don't mind, we'd love to have your support if you haven't done that yet. We put out as many shows as we can. And, we try to make it worth your while. $5 a month is all it takes. And you get a bonus show if you support us. It's called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. Give me a follow on social media. I'm at BeOurGuestMike on Instagram, Twitter, Threads. I'm on Threads. Facebook, I'm Mike Rallman. I'm even on Blue Sky, so check me out over there as well. I'm wherever there's social media. I try to be every place because I'm just a tech nerd. I love it all. And don't forget, we'll have the live call-in show this Sunday night. Scotty G will be back. So 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, all the places. Give us a call. The phone lines will be open, and we'll be having a blast. So join us there as well. All right, we'll be back again on Friday with more, or not more of your listener questions. We're going to be talking about the small moments at the Disney parks that just make your trips amazing. It's not that fifth ride on Tron. It's not the, going like with your hair on fire with the Muppets on Rock and Roller Coaster here in 2029. It's the small moments. We're going to talk about those with our mystery co-host. So come back for that. So until then, you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
You've been listening to the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. If you have questions, comments, or would like to be a guest on the show, please visit our website at beourguestpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you real soon.